All right, friends, let's figure out how to do number 2. I'm going to start the same way by drawing the line down. I'm then going to look at what I've got in front of me, and I will highlight the variable to just remind me that that's what I'm trying to get alone. I'm trying to get that term alone and then ultimately the g alone. My next step will be to figure out what do I want to get rid of. It's the -8. The -8 belongs on the other side with the 56, so I am going to add 8 to both sides. This will give me 8g equals 64. I then hopefully know that 8g really means 8 times g. And so again, I'm trying to get the g alone, so instead of multiplying by 8, the opposite operation would be to divide by 8, and I would end up with 64 divided by 8, or 8, which is the final answer. You definitely could have taken a first step of dividing every single thing by 8 and then going from there, but this is probably the more traditional approach. All right, friends, if you've clicked on the video, it means you have some questions on number 3. Number 3 is a little awkward because we have a constant before a variable on the left side. So normally it goes, coefficient, variable, and then plus or minus a constant. But it's kind of reversed here, but don't let that freak you out. It doesn't change much. It really doesn't. In this situation, we're still just trying to get x alone. We're trying to get that guy all by itself. And you're going to do that by doing the opposite operation, okay? So first thing you're going to do is try to get the clump or the term that has the variable all by itself. And how you're going to do that is to get rid of the 5. The 5 is being added. How do I know the 5 is being added? Because there's a little plus sign here that you can't see that's automatically associated with a constant with no number in front of it. Okay, so if there's nothing in front of it, we know it's a plus sign. So how are we going to get rid of a plus 5? We are going to subtract 5. That will give us 13x equals -26. We now are trying to get the x all alone, and hopefully from the last video you remember that whenever a variable is right next to a constant, that coefficient is multiplying by the variable. And how are we going to get rid of that multiplying by 13? The opposite operation, which is divide by 13. So in this situation, we end up with x on the left side because the 13's cross out, and on the right side, we get -26 divided by 13, or -2. Don't forget that when you have opposite operations, you end up with a negative. And hopefully you remember this Mickey Mouse thing we did in class. If you don't, I'm just going to tell you it real quick. This is the whole idea that when you have a negative and a positive, you're going to get a negative. And that's what happened here. We had a negative and a positive. So the solution then became the negative.